So let's get started with our seed lab setup. You'll notice that we have the Google Doc, and hopefully you have that up so you can see the steps that are being identified. It says that you want to label your bag with the seed type and the date that you are setting up the lab. Please, I encourage you, use a Sharpie or masking tape. If you use just a regular pen, you may pierce the bag, and the bag is going to create a mini greenhouse for you. So it's important that you don't have any holes in the bag. I am using today's date, which happens to be May 12th. You might have another date that you use. Also, I'm going to set up a second bag. I labeled my bag as maple because I knew I had maple seeds, but I'm also going to set up some pepper seeds just so you can see the difference of some different seeds. So now that I've completed that step, I've labeled with what seed I'm using, and I've got the date. The next thing it says to do is to moisten a paper towel with water and wring out the excess. It's up to you to determine how wet or dry your paper towel is. I strongly encourage you to think about the size of the paper towel you're using as well as the size of the bag that you're using before I actually moisten my paper towel. I'm going to fold it in half, knowing that this half-size bag is going to fit a little bit better in the Ziploc. Again, it says it's up to you to determine how wet or dry that paper towel is. Keep in mind, we're going to run this lab for 14 days. So as you actually set it up, you're going to want to have something moist enough for 14 days. Notice I did open up the paper towel again to that halfway point. Okay, it then says to fold the paper towel. I chose to do that before I got it wet, just knowing it was going to make my life a little easier. And then it says arrange 5 or 10 seeds on half of the paper towel. Based on the size of the maple seeds that I'm using, I'm going to put 5 of them spaced out on half of my paper towel. Notice that the wings of the maple leaf, it's okay that it's extending above the paper towel. However, the seed itself, which is this little portion, I am making sure that that is on the moist paper towel. Okay, if I had more space or smaller seeds, I might use 10. It's really important that you use that 5 or 10, as we're going to be doing some math with that later. It then says to fold the paper towel without the seeds over the seed-covered paper towel. So if we're looking at my maple seeds, I've got half that has seeds, I have half without. So basically, I have created a seed sandwich. I will then gently slide the paper towel into the bag and seal. So I do that. I just slide it in. I make sure that my seeds remain positioned in the paper towel. And then I seal my bag. And then that last instruction says to put the paper towel or the bag in a location of your choice. It's important when you do that you communicate to whoever's in your home that this is a lab experiment that you're doing, so they know not to mess with it and not to move it. Also, just for the sake of our lab, I am going to be setting up a demonstration that uses pepper seeds as well. If you recall, I got a pepper and opened that pepper up earlier in a demonstration. These seeds, because they're smaller, they take up less space. I will be using 10 of them. If you are someone who chose dandelion seeds, I know they're small. I realize that they're a little bit challenging, but again, please make sure that you're counting so that you've got just 5 or 10 seeds. Your math will be easier in the long run if you do that. Again, for those of you that want those steps, our Google Classroom does have the lab setup steps available for you. or you can follow the demonstration video. Good luck.